Raghav has 48 hours left to live. The legal appeals are exhausted, and the execution order is signed. There is no longer any path back from the gallows. Inside the cell, the expected signs of a condemned man are missing. There is no pacing, no sweating, and no breakdown. The police inspector finds only a silence in Raghav's eyes that suggests he's already made peace with what's coming. When asked for a final wish, he doesn't ask for a meal or a visit from his parents. He asks for a wedding, a marriage to a virgin girl, to be performed on his final night. This creates a logistical and moral deadlock. The authorities are left wondering if any woman would walk into a prison to marry a man whose life is measured in hours, or what her true motive could possibly be. It is a moment where the rigid mechanics of the law meet a human demand that makes no sense on paper. The countdown to his death continues, but the entire focus has shifted entirely away from the execution to this completely inexplicable wedding request. Law dictates that a prisoner's final wish be granted whenever possible. Following the protocol, the department broadcasts the request to the village, half expecting the silence of the gallows to be the only response. Midday turns to dusk with no answer. The officers wait by the gates, convinced the request was a stalling tactic or the delusion of a desperate man. That conviction vanishes when a girl named Suhani arrives. She is wearing a red bridal outfit and is accompanied by a cleric, ready to fulfill the prisoner's wish. The inspector warns her that this isn't a fairy tale. She is told she will be a widow before the morning sun hits the prison walls, facing a lifetime of isolation for a few hours of marriage. Suhani stays. She ignores the warnings of the officers, signaling a commitment that goes beyond the understanding of the police. She isn't there for a ceremony. She is there for Raghav. The wedding vows are exchanged within the stone walls of death row. The sound of the cleric's prayers contrasts against the heavy rattling of cell keys and the industrial hum of the prison. Following the final protocol of the night, the guards lock the cell. Raghav and his new bride are left alone in the dark to wait for the dawn. In her office, the inspector tries to rest. She has processed the paperwork and satisfied the law. For the state, the case is effectively over. As the first light of morning begins to crest the horizon, the two timelines converge. The state is prepared to end a life, while the cell holds the remnants of a marriage that began just hours ago. The execution team arrives at 6 a.m. to find the cell door standing open. Raghav is completely gone. Only Suhani remains, sitting quietly on the stone floor where her husband should have been waiting for death. Suhani's confession is immediate. She tells the inspector that Raghav didn't commit the murder 2 years ago. She did. He had spent 2 years in a cell to keep her from one. This timeline compares the official record against the actual events. The top line shows the law's path, a straight line from the initial arrest to the execution. The dotted line below reveals the truth, that the guilt originated with Suhani, was transferred to Raghav by his own choice, and was reclaimed by her last night. The legal system processed Raghav because he provided a confession that matched the evidence. Once the paperwork was filed, the investigation stopped. The law was satisfied by a name on a page, unaware of the sacrifice happening behind the signature. Most culprits who find a scapegoat never return to the scene. Suhani's decision to walk back into the prison to trade her life for his stands against the common reality where people protect themselves at the cost of others. Raghav's unique case suggests that a legal system built on confessions and surface-level evidence can be easily steered. When the law prioritizes a closed file over a deep search for the truth, it risks punishing the innocent for the crimes of those they love.